We begin in the United States. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at stopping federal support for gender transitions for people under the age of 19. The order directs federally run insurance programs, including Tricare for military families, Medicare and Medicaid, to end funding gender-affirming care for minors. This means that any federally funded medicines or surgery that are needed for gender-affirming care are now only reserved for adults. However, the broader practice of gender care also includes counseling for people who identify as non-binary or transgender, which will now also be excluded from federal funding. The White House has clarified that the executive order is not a blanket pause on federal aid for Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act.
This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that.
Now, the executive order's language against gender-affirming care includes words like maiming, sterilization, and mutilation, and labels it, quote, junk science. The executive order also directs the Department of Justice to investigate states that protect access to gender care procedures.
It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Now, at least 26 states, most of which are run by Republicans, have already banned gender-affirming health care for transgender children and teenagers. And according to data released by a medical watchdog, around 5,000 minors underwent gender surgeries between 2019 and 2023. Democratic states like California, Oregon, and Washington reported the most cases of gender surgery for minors. And the executive order is the latest move by President Donald Trump to reverse the Biden administration's policies protecting rights for transgender people. Throughout his campaign, Trump promised to crack down on gender-affirming care, and the executive order is just the latest in President Trump's plans to roll back protections for the transgender community across the country. Now, of course, like many of these executive orders, the question now becomes, will it hold up to legal scrutiny if and when it's challenged in court?
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Team measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Thagbir. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.